In the heart of Brownsville, Texas, stood a cozy diner called Luby's. It wasn't fancy, but it was the kind of place where stories quietly unfolded every day. Waitresses rushed between tables. The smell of sizzling food filled the air, and regular customers came and went, some kind, some not so much. Among the staff was Melina Salazar, a woman whose patience seemed endless. Melina had worked there for years. To her, Luby's wasn't just a job, it was home. She knew every regular customer by name, every order by heart, and every story that unfolded between the morning coffee and the closing shift. She wasn't paid much, but her pride came from something deeper, treating people kindly, no matter how they treated her. And then one day, he walked in. His name was Walter Buck Swords, an 8-9-year-old World War II veteran. The first time Melina saw him, she felt the room's energy shift. Walter's face was carved with wrinkles and an expression of constant disapproval. He barked at waitresses, snapped his fingers for service, and complained about everything: the temperature of his coffee, the size of his portions, even the sound of other people talking. Most servers avoided him like the plague. They'd whisper warnings, "Stay away from that table, he's impossible." But Melina, she just smiled. Every morning, Walter would limp through the doors, sit in the same corner booth, and order his meal the same way, extra hot, and don't mess it up this time. Every morning, Melina greeted him with the same warm words. "Good morning, Mr. Swords. How are you today?" He rarely answered. Sometimes he just grunted. Other times he'd glare. Yet Melina kept showing up to his table with patience and a plate of perfectly cooked, piping hot food, just how he liked it. For 7 years she served him that way. Through his complaints, his silence, and his occasional curses, she never once lost her composure. Her co-workers couldn't understand why she bothered. "Why waste your time on him?" they'd ask. Melina would simply shrug. Maybe he just needs someone to be nice to him. Over time, she learned his rhythms, the exact way he liked his eggs, how long he wanted his coffee to sit before being refilled, and that he liked the newspaper folded neatly beside his plate. It became their unspoken routine. But one summer morning, something changed. Walter didn't show up. At first, Melina thought maybe he was sick. Then days passed, then weeks. His corner booth sat empty, the seat where his cane leaned, the table where his cup waited, untouched. The diner felt strangely quiet without him. She asked around, hoping someone had seen him, but no one knew. Deep down, she feared the truth she didn't want to face. Then, one afternoon, as she flipped through the local paper during her break, her heart stopped. There it was, Walter Swords' obituary. He had passed away quietly, at the age of 89. Melina sat frozen, her eyes blurring with tears. She hadn't realized how much that old man had become part of her daily life, how his grumpiness, in a strange way, had filled the silence of her days. For weeks afterward, his table stayed empty, but she kept setting it anyway, not out of habit, out of respect. Months passed, and though life at Luby's moved on, Melina never quite stopped thinking about Walter. Every time she passed his corner, she could almost hear his grumbling voice. She missed it more than she cared to admit. Then, one December afternoon, just before Christmas, a man in a suit walked into the restaurant asking for her. "Are you Melina Salazar?" he said. She nodded cautiously. "I'm Mr. Carson, Walter Swords' attorney. I believe we need to talk." Her stomach tightened. Why would Walter's lawyer want to see her? They sat down at the very booth where Walter used to eat. The lawyer opened a folder and slid an envelope across the table. "Mr. Swords mentioned you in his will," he said. Melina blinked. "Me? But I only served him food." Mr. Carson smiled faintly. "That's exactly why. He said you were the only person who ever treated him with kindness. He came here every day, not just for the meal, but for your smile." Tears welled up as she unfolded the letter. Inside, Walter had left her a message short but powerful. "Thank you for your patience. You reminded me that not everyone forgets an old man." And with it, he left her $50,000 and the keys to his cherished Buick. Melina couldn't speak. The man who once made her days harder than anyone had just given her a gift that changed her life forever. That night, as she left the restaurant and looked up at the quiet Texas sky, she smiled through her tears. Even the grumpiest soul, she realized, sometimes just needs someone who cares.